Give me just a second here. I know Twitch isn't going to be updated for this. Everyone's playing Destiny right now. A bunch of freaking nerds. I do wonder how many people are actually going to click in on this stream. We'll see. This is an Alien Isolation. Hold on. There we go. Alright, that's a little bit better. Alright, what's up, everybody? We'll see how many people this ends up getting, because there's a Destiny release here today, which means the vast majority of my audience will not be on. But it'll be fine, I'm sure. We'll have like 4 people, and we're going to have the best damn conversation we've ever had. Ain't that right, chat? Is there anybody even in chat yet? There's 3 people in chat. Let's go. What's up, people? Let me get YouTube set up here in just a sec. Uno momento, por favor. Alright, that's all looking fine. No AI-generated content. Alright, yeah, that's fine. Alright, we should be good to go. Here, let me post this down here to everybody. What's up to the 3 people in chat? Give me a second to get this all up. I'm sorry, color tier list. Yeah, color tier list. You know, we've gone too long without properly, like, deciding what the meta color is. You know? It's been too long. It's been too long. Nobody is... I'm sure somebody has, but nobody with any sort of authority has done a color tier list. Nobody we care about, right? It is time for a proper color tier list. I'll explain why here in just a second. Let me get this all posted up. One sec. One sec. There we go. Get that out of the way. That's up. All right. What's up, everybody? Blue is up there, no bias. We're gonna chat about all that. Gotta be black, but I'm not an expert. Yeah, for too long. Oh, I also need to start my recording. For too long have colors existed in this kumbaya state. Everybody gets along. Everybody likes each other. You know, no, that's some bullshit. Colors, there are some colors that are better than others. That's just a fact. All right, that's just a fact. Definitely blue's up there. I agree. Now, the reason why we're having this conversation at all, chat, the reason why I'm open to this website, which you can barely see the edges of the... Okay, let me see if I can make this like slightly larger so you don't have to even remotely look at any of the ads. There we go. Kinda. Yeah, that looks pretty good. The reason why I'm on this ad-infested website is that my girlfriend and I were having a conversation about colors. I don't even know how it started, but, you know, me being an alpha male gamer that I am, referred to one of the colors as being like an F-tier color. I believe I referred to pink as being an F-tier color. Also, let me keep my my stats here, make sure we're not dropping any frames. Let me know if you guys encounter any issues, by the way. I referred to pink as being an F-tier color, and her, being a girly girl, was very offended at this idea. Did not like the idea of one of her favorite colors, which is pink, which I felt sorry for her, being an F-tier color. But again, me being objectively correct source of information, proceeded to argue with her for the next... I'm not even joking, like, it was an hour-and-a-half long argument. We were at it for an hour and a half. It was a long-ass argument. So today, chat, we're gonna see... Shit. We're gonna see if y'all agree with some of my opinions here. Why do they all look the same? I've got some horrible news for you. Actually, you're not even colorblind. I'm pretty sure you're just a dog. Because I don't... Well, not even... No, dogs can see colors too. But, like, limited. Anyway, Anyway, so I just pulled up this random one here. We went over a lot of different like arguments as to what should and shouldn't be included for colors. Initially, we were going to say just the Roy G. Biv. You know, like the Roy G. Biv isn't necessarily like the classic. Like the real original gangster in this color wheel is red, blue, and yellow. Those are your primary colors, right? And we'll chat about each of these, but like, let's see, blue was just red, yellow, right? These are your primary colors right here. These are like the building blocks of which all other colors are made, right? Those are your OGs. And then we've got like the Roy G. Biv thing. And I'm just going to use S tier for this, right? So red, orange, yellow. I need like a green. What the hell is poison green? Who the hell refers? Is there no just green? No? What the hell is this tier list? It's fine. All right, poison green will be our green. Green, blue, indigo. Do they have an indigo? They do not. They do not have an indigo. This is kind of indigo-ish. Green, blue, indigo. We'll call that indigo. And then purple. Dark violet, purple. You know what? That's technically more indigo. We'll call this purple. Right? This color tier list, by the way, is just something I found online. So these are not what I would call these colors. This is already like off to a great start. Right? It's fine. It's fine. So these are like if red, yellow, or if red, yellow, blue, or red, blue, yellow were like the dooms of the original Doom, like one of the very earliest shooters, right? Roy G. Biv is GoldenEye, right? And it's another level. It takes another step up, right? This tier list is F tier because there's no teal. So me and the girlfriend went about this for quite a while, deciding what should even be included in the tier list, right? So we originally were gonna say, okay, Roy G. Biv plus black and white, because those are also like valid choices to choose here, right? We're not just choosing like, like the standard like colorful colors. Is the indigo from the Midwest? Indigo is technically in there. It's just something that not, and here's the funny thing. Let me see if I can bring this up. Hold on. Indigo. Here's the funny thing. Nobody can really figure out what the fuck indigo is. Like, some people say this is indigo, which I would call that blue. Some people call this indigo, which I would call that purple. Nobody can make up their fucking mind what the fuck indigo is, and it pisses me off. I've seen it several different ways. There's so many different interpretations of what the fucking indigo is. I don't know. But you know what? I don't know if you guys could see all that. So yeah, indigo is technically a thing on the list. It's just nobody can figure out what it is. Indigo's when you see an Indian run. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm gonna be honest, if you choose black or white as your favorite color, you're more basic than basic. That's fair. Anyway, so we were gonna just do the Roy G. Biv, then we're gonna do Roy G. Biv plus black and white, and then we're like, okay, what about brown? Well, like, brown is like a derivative of many different colors. You know, it's like kind of like desaturated orange, if you want to put it that way. It's kind of a derivative of orange. Okay, so do we include all derivatives? Or do we just include derivatives of colors that are like commonly accepted? So like pink would be in there. Do we include things like fuchsia and cyan? And what we ultimately decided upon was we're going to do Roy G. Biv plus dark and light, right? So like dark red, dark blue, light blue, dark orange, light orange, etc., etc., etc. This one I think is a pretty sufficient in between of this. So let's go ahead and reset. Brown is purple and yellow. Brown is like the mistake in like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. You know, brown is what happens when you mix colors that should not be mixed together. It's a catch-all, a fail-safe for colors to default to, right? You keep going that way. If you mistake twice, you end up getting black. Like, you keep going that way, you'll eventually get black. That's why the Minnesota Vikings are shit. Yeah, I'm sure this discussion is only gonna breed positive interactions here. So we're gonna go through all this. I'm gonna be judging these colors on a handful of criteria. Criteria number 1. This is the time I wish I had like a camera. Hold on. Hold on. I can bring up some like. Let's see. What's this do? Okay, that's like current scores. I don't know what the fuck this is. Properties? No, that's filters. I don't want that. Properties. Here we go. Okay. Criteria. Okay. I probably spelled that wrong. Number 1. Usefulness. So a color might not be like visually appealing. Also, how big is that? There. It can feel like right there-ish. There we go. That looks nice right there, right? Criteria number 1 is usefulness, right? A color might not be visually appealing, but there might be colors that are like actually viable choices as like just practical utilitarian choices for colors, okay? And then number 2, visual appeal. This is like how nice the color is to look at. This is going to be the most subjective area, okay? This is going to be the area where I'm going to need to kind of like pool and do a little bit of democratic voting here to get an opinion onto what you think the most visually appealing of a color is, right? I have my opinions. You're going to have yours. It'll be fine, right? And then number 3, I forgot what number 3 was. Wait. Oh, yeah. Connotation. I'm probably spelling all of these words wrong. Listen. Spelling is not my strong suit, okay? Connotation. So, some colors associate in your mind a particular thing, right? It might be like visually appealing, but there might be a connotation for this that makes it maybe a little less attractive, all right? Does everybody agree? I need to ask chat. Do we all agree with these these criterias? Is this all fair to everybody? Does this seem like a good way to judge things? Of course, I'm biased. I think this is great, but you know, where do you all sit? I got a yes from Twitch chat, like the 4 of you in Twitch chat. Everyone's out watching Destiny right now, like a bunch of nerds. Can they rank them down if they're basic bitch colors? See, that's why these 3 criterias are here. These are the 3 pillars, right? Because like basic bitch colors, you call them basic bitch because they're so damn useful, right? They're one of the most useful colors out there. That's why you see them everywhere. That's why you see them freaking everywhere. All right, everyone's happy with these? All right, let's get this off the screen here. Okay, I'm just going to go from left to right on this tier list here. I did not make this tier list, unfortunately, but I think that these are some pretty good choices based off of what I'm seeing here, all right? Why does S tier look so sleek, especially in clothing, in my opinion? Yeah, okay, all right, let's start with cyan. I'm going to put cyan right here just to start ourselves out, okay? Personally, I'm a big cyan stan. I think cyan doesn't get the love it deserves. I think cyan is one of the coolest colors out there. Now, like, if we go back to our connotations and stuff here, usefulness, it's kind of low on the usefulness scale, right? You don't really like see cyan like, okay, this means something to me. You know, cyan doesn't stand out as being something that you need from any sort of color ever. Cyan and turquoise are great, right? But visual appeal for me, this is really strong. And it's actually doing a good job with the background it has. Cyan against a dark color is so nice. It's so nice. And connotation-wise, it's kind of an open book. There's not really like anything strongly associated with anything. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with it, right? So for those reasons, I'm feeling strongly about putting cyan like right smack dab in the middle of B tier. Right? It's not like the strongest color overall. It doesn't have some incredibly useful thing going on to it. It doesn't have some really negative connotation. It's just like right in the middle, you know? Just like right there. It chills right there. You all feel that? Cyan is really cool with lighting stuff, like neon lights and RGB with computers. Yep. That's a sleep hit color. Agreed. Strongly agreed. Cyan is A tier. Okay. Valid point, the printers. Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, cyan does get used for printers. It's a necessary color for printers. Ooh, CMYK. Yeah. That's very valid. Imagine not having printers. I'm sure we could probably get around not needing cyan, but it is pretty good. Cyan's a good baseline. I'm feeling pretty good about putting cyan in B tier for now. For right now. Can't say, but if purple doesn't end up in S, and my 41-month sub may end here. Oh, boy. Oh. All right, moving on. Sky blue. I would call this, well, yeah, I guess sky blue is fair. Dodger blue. There's kinds of blues. This tier list seems to be pretty biased towards the blues and reds, if I may be honest. there's little yellow representation in here. I'm a little upset at it, but you know what? It's fine. Anyway, sky blue. That's a very calming color. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna keep it right here for now. I'm gonna keep it right here. The usefulness of this color. This is a calming color, and that's also its connotations. Its connotations are so strong that it wraps back around to being useful. Right? Sky blue is one of those things that you put into places when you're trying to create a calming atmosphere. Doesn't pop out though. That's true. That's true. But it's not like offensive in any way. Sky blue is a solid B+. See, I'm willing to argue, chat, I'm willing to argue that this is an A tier pick. Because it's literally sky blue. It's literally the color of the sky. You know, it's the connotations that it's a nice day. It's useful as just a general, like, you know, welcoming place sort of thing. You know, it's got all the stuff going for it. It's got everything it needs. Also, can you see my... Hold on, let me see. 1 second here. Properties. Capture cursor. Okay, you guys can see my cursor. Okay, good. Good. Sir, I like in the UK, we don't have blue skies. It's all gray. See, wouldn't it be so much better to have a blue sky, though? See? Like, what you're saying... Also, gray's not on this list. Why is gray not on this list? This tier list sucks. All right, it's fine. It's fine. I think sky blue is an A tier pick. I feel like the usefulness, the visual appeal, the connotations are just like, it's just too valid. It's called sky gray. Sky blue is C tier. Interesting. Ain't no way you put sky blue above cyan. This is doomed to the start. I can't believe what's happening to this country. It's already going downhill, huh? Gray is not a color. It absolutely is a color. Sky gray is pretty bleak, though. It is pretty bleak. Okay. All right, chat disagrees with me. I'll settle for in the middle here. I'll put it in B tier, below cyan, all right? All right, is that fair? Now, Dodger Blue. I've never heard of Dodger Blue before. This sounds like somebody who plays the sports ball thing. The fact that it has a name of a thing in the front of it makes me question if this color tier list is even valid for including something like this. A tier is good. We've got a spectrum of blues here, and what you're saying is that the darker the color gets, the more useful it is. Like, sky blue, nah. Cyan, that's good. Dodger blue, that's good. I'm getting some mixed messages from the chat that y'all don't like the middleman. You don't like the Goldilocks of blues here. You want the darker blues. While we're here, I guess we could talk about the other blues here. Solid B- or C+, D for Dodger. Yeah, I actually dislike this color because I've never heard of this before. Yeah, Dodger blue sounds like a color that would get you a copyright claim. Exactly. It doesn't sound like a real color. This is a fake color. This was made by Big Color to sell more colors. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. As much as it is a nice blue, it's like sky blue's got what you need there, right? And it's not blue and like dark blue enough to have any sort of usefulness. Honestly, Dodger blue, I'm putting in D tier. I'm putting in D tier. You can fight me about that one, but the fact that it has like name, like first name of something, like name of actual place followed by color is like, it's trying too hard. The stream has been copyright claimed by patent. Yeah. Yeah, there's colors that are patented. It's quite interesting. The pastel pink down there, this color right here is pretty close to that. Anyway, all right, moving on. Purple. Okay. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. S tier. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. I know there's some purple haters out there. I know, and I would honestly argue that this is more indigo. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do this. Dark violet, like actual purple. This is what I would call purple, not like this shit. Like this shit's indigo. I don't know what they're getting for that. It's this is purple. All right. Let's put dark violet as they call it. Let's put dark violet up there for just a second. Okay, usefulness, not the most useful. I'll give you that. There's no like some place where you need dark violet to come up. You know what I'm saying? However, visual appeal. It's a really nice color. Technically, this color doesn't exist, and that's cool. This dark violet is the Schrodinger's cat of colors. Our brain doesn't actually know what purple is. It just understands that it's some mix of both red and blue, and it spits out this color to our brain, which I think is pretty darn neat. I think that's pretty darn neat. Also, chat, can you see yourself well enough here? Let me make you nice and big. Is that better? Is that good? Cool. Okay. And then, like, connotations. The connotations of, like, a proper purple is royalty. Yeah, exactly. Literally connotates royalty, right? Some people would call this, like, a royal purple. That's a nice color right there. I am incredibly biased. I'll admit that. For me, the visual appeal does a lot of heavy lifting here. But I feel like this color is just like, you're always happy to see this color. Is there ever a time, chat, where you see what they call dark violet, I would just call pure purple, where you're like, yeah, that doesn't look good. Like, yeah, you can, with all colors, you can put them next to another color and it doesn't look great, right? But like, when you see, I would argue that if there's ever a deviation of a color, right? Let's say that like a tree, which is normally green, and you see it as a different color, like yellows and orange. You know, those aren't typical colors for a tree, so those can happen, right? Is there ever a time where there's a deviation of a color and it's purple that you are sad or upset to see that thing purple? No, I would say no. I'd say anytime something that's not its normal color is now suddenly purple, it's pretty darn cool. Like, you're pretty happy with that. You're like, wow, how often do you see purple? This is such a rare color. Good contrast capabilities. Yeah, like next to a yellow, it honestly kind of hard carries yellow, if I may be real. You aren't biased, you are objectively correct. All right, and with that, I'm gonna keep that right there. All right, fuchsia. Now, as much as I've said negative things about pink at the start of this conversation, fuchsia, I feel like it's an okay color. It's an okay color. Going back to our criteria here, usefulness, you know, it has a missing texture usefulness. It stands out so drastically compared to everything else. You know what I'm saying? Visual appeal, it kind of hit or miss for me. And connotations, I don't know what connotations fuchsia really has for me. Fuchsia's too neon. I kind of agree. What about light gray and dark gray? Yeah, I might grab some grays in here, or we might like honorarily put some grays in here, because there's no grays on this list, which is really sad. Needs to go with cyan. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like a cyan color, but like it's a distinctly worse color than cyan. I would argue. Like, whereas cyan's got its thing, fuchsia doesn't really stand on its own. It kind of needs other stuff to help it out. Telesto banner, right? If I see purple human, I call an ambulance. I mean, like, I think you call an ambulance if you saw a blue human too. Fuchsia is magenta. It's just important as cyan for printers. That's true, but like, it doesn't stand in its own as well. Like, even though it's like, yeah, you got the printer thing, that's its usefulness. It doesn't like as a color stand by itself. You need, if you saw nothing but fuchsia, you'd vomit. If you saw nothing but cyan, it'd be a little overwhelming, but you wouldn't vomit. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in a room with everything painted cyan versus everything painted fuchsia, that fuchsia is going to drive you insane so much faster. Does anybody disagree with that? C tier, I agree with C tier. I think it's on the same-ish tier as cyan, but not. It has enough bad stuff going for it that it deserves a C tier. Fuchsia and LED lights would be good for a room. Yeah, it does have that bisexual lighting vibe. Fuchsia isn't really doable with a single diode because it's only a line of purples. That's true. That's true. It's true. All right, moving on. We good? Where's beige? I need something for F tier. We don't have an F tier, unfortunately. All right, deep pink. Whoa, what the hell? Deep pink, as they call it, or like a darker pink. They've got so many like red colors in here, dude. There is a clear bias. There is a clear bias towards reds and pinks in here. There's something going on here. Whoever made this tier list has some kind of bias going on in here. We'll mention that later. Let's not dwell on this too long. All right, so deep pink, as they call this. I don't know what I would refer to this as. I don't know if I would call it deep pink. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. Chat, this is again a color where it's like, I feel like this is just worse fuchsia. This is like fuchsia, but like downgraded. Fuchsia, but somebody took a baseball bat to its kneecaps. Say it again. Your girlfriend made this tier list in secret, so you'd have to be unable to find numerous pinks to put into F tier because there'd be no F tier even played. You might be right. Big Red keeps trying to manipulate the masses. It's real, dude. And the salt on the eyes, hard agree. Usefulness, where is this useful? Visual appeal, it's way too aggressive. Connotations, what connotations? Yeah, if I had an F tier, I would put it in F tier. I'm going to put it to the bottom of D tier for now. All right, purple. I would call this indigo. I'd say that this is the closest to being an indigo. Again, another color that's like, it's not offensive. It's a darker color here, right? That doesn't really have a lot of usefulness. The visual appeal is kind of up in the air, and there's no strong connotations for me. I feel like this is a color that just is very forgettable. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is a color that's just like, it's just kind of by the wayside. Like, again, like, I know it says purple, but I would call this indigo. This dark violet is what I would call purple. That's what I would call a true purple. This is too blue to be a purple, I would argue. Delete it from the list, banish it. Indigo is an average purple. Yeah. Again, though, nobody can agree what the hell indigo is. Some people call it dark blue. Some people call it the purple that we're seeing right there. It's kind of whatever. What if it was purple? It's kind of purple. It's not what I would define as purple. And this is my tier list anyway. Useful for painting low sunsets, but that's about it. B- or C. I would put this kind of in C tier. Above fuchsia, because, like, fuck fuchsia, right? Like, we can all agree, fuck fuchsia. But not anything crazy. All right, pastel orange. Kind of a spicy take on this one. I think pastel orange is a very nice color. That's the kind of color that has, it's like kind of usefulness wise. This is a color to signal when something's done. You know, it's not really like a warning color yet. Like that's like a true orange or like a mustard yellow as they have here. You know, I would call it just a very pleasant color. You know what I mean? Visual appeal. It's just like, again, this is a brighter color that somehow has broken the mold. Reminds me of a creamsicle. Yeah, it's a brighter color that has broken the mold of being obnoxious and is now back at a place where it's like, it's just visually nice to look at. I'm hungry for orange cream popsicles, right? I feel like this is a nice color. Like this is like a fall color too, right? Like when you see like leaves turning this color, like, oh, that's, right there, that's good. And when you see food that color, like it means that something's like, that's like bakery goods. This hitting all the right buttons. This is hitting all the right buttons right here. Do y'all agree? Do y'all agree that this is like an A tier color? I'm almost willing to put it into S tier, but it's not quite at that level yet. Not quite at that level. Chemical orange and getting ready to processed sweets, yeah. But like this is like fall colors, right? This is autumn colors. This is a nice color. And ironically, it's also snuggles up well right next to A tier. It looks good. All right, pastel yellow. I also quite like pastel yellow. I feel like pastel yellow and pastel orange, both of these like more whitewashed, more typically obnoxious colors, because like a pure orange is aggressive, a pure yellow is aggressive, right? But like watered down a little bit, rounding out the flavor of the color a little bit, it helps a lot. I don't know if it's as good as pastel orange, right? It's not quite, doesn't quite hit as high of marks. It's still very solid, like a lemon color, yeah. Pastel yellow is too bright. It is bright, but like it's one of those things where you use in like small doses. Also, it's like the color of the sun, you know? Pastel yellow and like a dark orange is like the signal for all life on this planet. Pastel yellow's F. Really, you guys don't like pastel yellow? Pastel makes colors better. I would argue it makes the brighter colors, the more aggressive colors better, right? Some of the colors that are already good by themselves, this waters it down too much. Y'all don't like the pastel yellows. That's interesting. So what are you feeling then? You feeling like the sun is not yellow? What? It definitely, like, when you, anytime you, if you were to ask a child to paint the sun. They're painting that SOB yellow. Do not lie to me. B tier at most. Okay. Interesting. I'm willing to yield to the will of the masses here and to put this at C tier. By the way, how's my volume? Is my volume good? C tier. I would not put it above purple or indigo, but definitely above fuchsia. Like between the two, fuchsia still just hurts my eyes, dude. I just don't like it. Connotation maybe the sun, but I think more baby chicks. That's still a good connotation. Like pastel yellow is always like a positive connotation. Like outside of piss, it's like, all right, fair, I'll give you that. It's a happy little color. Yeah, I agree. It's a happy color. I don't know what. No. You know what? I'm not gonna let you influence me that much. I believe that this is a better color than that. Arguably above cyan, honestly. Arguably above cyan. It's also funny that this is almost the exact same color as the C tier and tier list. That's fine. I'm going to put it at the top of B tier for now. That's where I'm feeling for it. Maybe the sun is actually purple or indigo. Yeah, okay. All right. Calm down there, Chief. Okay, next color. Pastel green. Okay, remember when I said that pastel doesn't always make colors better? You can't see it, but I'm gesturing with my hand. Pastel green. Why? Why have you done this to green? Green is already such a great color. You've made it awful. You've made it awful. You've made green go from something great to something that is like nearing the level of fuchsia. Is this like better than fuchsia? Absolutely. But like you've watered down green. I'm offended. I'm offended. It's nice to see a brighter green, right? Like if we kind of, let me move this right here next to the yellow here, just so we can see it by comparison, right? In terms of usefulness, this has some use. This has some use. It's almost a warning color. Yeah, like a minty green. Yeah, it has some connotations. Mintiness. They call the other green over here poison, but I would say anytime I see like a bright green, I'm like, they're trying to warn me of something. Maybe not something that's going to kill me immediately, but something that's like, you should probably just generally keep an eye out. Wasabi. Yeah, wasabi. Better than yellow green. I mean, it kind of is a yellowish green. Well, I guess their yellow green's kind of shit, like literal. But yeah, it's just like a slightly worse green in my opinion. A slightly worse green. I would say that pastel green is not as good as cyan. It's not as good as pastel yellow. Still pretty useful though. Still pretty solid. It's just I don't like what they did to it. All right, ruby pink. I would almost call this like a royal pink. I'm gonna put it in B tier for now. We'll talk about it. I'd almost call this like a royal pink if that makes sense. It's a more bluish. I would call this like a magenta. You know, it's okay. It's okay. It has the flair of somebody trying to be fancy. You know, when you see a ruby pink, you think somebody who's like trying to be upper class. You know what I mean? Am I wrong in feeling that way? But it's not bad. It's just not really what I'm looking for. I feel it's A tier. Better maroon. Yeah, maroon's also kind of a similar color. Too close to deep pink, D tier. Yeah, it's really close to deep pink. It helps, though. The fact that it's a darker color really helps ruby pink. Because as deep pink is just like, why are you here? Who made this list? Ruby pink. It's all right. Too bright. See, I wouldn't call this too bright. Ruby pink reminds me of Pokemon games. That's interesting. Yeah, I would probably put this like maybe below purple or indigo as they have it here in C tier. The difference between princess and queens. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a really solid way to put it. I definitely feel like this has there's not really a lot of usefulness to here. Visual appeal is really up to flavor. That's really up to taste. I don't know of a lot of people that say like maroon or ruby pink, as they say, is like their favorite color. I don't know anybody who's ever said that to me. And the connotations are just like somebody said princess versus queen. That's a pretty good way to put it. You know? It's the color of dragon fruit, which is the worst fruit taste-wise. You don't like dragon fruit? I like dragon fruit. It's not like the best, but it's not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna put this. I feel pretty strongly about putting this like right below fuchsia. Fuchsia at least has some usefulness for the printer stuff. Ruby pink just feels like it was included in here by Big Color to sell more colors. All right, pastel cyan. We already are getting derivative of colors. Cyan is in and of itself a derivative of color. Pastel cyan is like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I would call this like a powder blue. You know? Like a powder blue would be the way I would describe this. It's an alright color, but it feels like there's not really any need for this color. You know what I mean? Like we come over to this, there's no usefulness for this color. It's just something that is like in transition to other colors. You know, that's the only time we really have it pop out. Visual appeal, it's fine. I don't think it's a bad color. It's not offensive like some of the other colors we've seen so far. And there's no real connotations with this. Like, you don't see that specific color and go, oh yeah, this associates this thing into my mind, right? So it's just kind of there. I would probably say even below ruby pink, because I don't think this has any use for anything. I call this, I'm running low on toner blue. Yeah. Daddy blue D tier. How do we feel about quote unquote pastel cyan? Looks like baby blue from Temu. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this color. I'm gonna drop this down here. I'm tempted to go all the way to D tier. You know what? I am gonna go to D tier. Deep pink, you can chill down there. I'm disappointed in pastel cyan. That's not a color that comes up much. All right. Pastel purple. It rounds out the purple. I quite like pastel purple. What do you feel about pastel purple? I already like purple. I'm already biased towards purple. But this is one of those colors where it's like, it's like you kind of watered down an already good color, but I feel like it kind of adds a different flavor to it. Better than Dodger blue. Oh, for the pastel cyan? Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, no, not you. Get over there. Yeah, anyway, pastel purple. What do you all feel about pastel purple? My favorite grape pills. It does have like what's the Flintstones gummies kind of color, you know? It's a nice gaming color B. Yeah, pastel purple's nice. Like that's a color I could get down with, you know? Like dark violet is maybe a little too aggressive as a color, but like the usefulness for it is that it's like it spawns so many other colors off of it, of which pastel purple is definitely one of them. I would say that this is like an A tier color. It's a very nice color. It doesn't quite have like the same strong connotations or usefulness as some of the other ones, but it's still like a nice visually appealing color. Same arguments with purple, but just like a little bit less strength in the other categories here. Love it. It's S tier. Does look like great medicine though, maybe B tier. Yeah, it does have a kind of a great medicine vibe. Popsicle flavor, but not as iconic a pastel orange. Yeah, I think I agree. I think that this pastel orange, pastel purple, kind of both in this A tier area. All right, let's move on. Red. Chat, I feel like we don't have an option here. Red is arguably the top of S tier. Red is so fundamental to so many other things. Red makes up the backbone. It is a workhorse of colors. Not only does it have, yeah, it is like the OG color. You know what I'm saying? Not only does red make up a lot of different other colors here. In fact, every color here besides the greens, blues, and the yellows, right? Like all these purples and these pinkish stuffs that we're seeing here have some red in it. Yeah, it makes it, red is just, there's so many things in here that red is useful for. It represents life. It represents love. It represents blood. It represents death. There are so many ways that red can be used. It deserves its own tier. Yeah, honestly, I'm in agreement with that. It hits all the marks for this. Visual appeal. I know many people, myself included, that like red as just a color. You know, red as a color is just a nice color. Primary colors can't be anything but S tier. RGB would be nothing without red. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Red is S tier. If we could put it higher, we probably would, but we're going to hold it here. Orange. Here, I'm going to put orange in B tier for now. We'll talk about it, okay? Orange. Orange is one of those colors that some people love the visual appeal of orange. Some people, when they see orange, they're like, ah, that's my color right there. That's a good color, right? But I feel like where orange really shines, like orange's true strength here, when you need orange, is in its usefulness and in its connotations. This is a color that in usefulness represents warning. This is like a, pay attention kind of color, right? And it does its job so well. Orange is one of those colors that stand out from a crowd. It is so distinct from everything else, right? So I would say because of how useful it is, even though visually, I don't know of many people that say orange is their favorite color, right? Even though visually, I don't think it's like the most appealing. I feel like it's so useful and its connotations so needed in society. I would argue that this is A tier, arguably above the others because of just how raw useful it is. Is that perhaps a little too bold? Maybe. But I don't know, chat. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty strongly about orange being high A tier. Yeah, solid A tier. It's a mix of two primary colors, like direct primary colors. It's not as strong as any of those individual primary colors, but yeah, there's some fire. Yeah, that's a good one. Fire is another example. Fire, orange is representative of fire. The only crime orange has committed is not appearing more often. And Sentai came in rider suits. Don't you mean color? No! I speak American. I speak freedom. Even our sub... Oh yeah, I need to turn those back on. Our sub sounds are eagles. I don't have those turned on right now. We'll do that later. Okay. Alright. Shall we roll? Pastel pink. This is like the girliest color out there. And that's fine. But I feel like pastel pink is such an assault. It's such an assault on the eyes. It is like fuchsia, but like turned up to an 11. Pastel pink is absurd. It is absurd how aggressive this color is. Like, this is the kind of color, it is like, it's like orange's evil cousin. You know what I mean? Pastel pink or bright pink, highlighter pink, is orange's evil cousin. You cannot convince me otherwise. This is orange's doppelganger. Solid A tier. I disagree. I hate this color. Name a time where pastel pink or bright pink is more useful than any of these other colors, where it has better connotations than here. Hold up. Where it's more useful than any other colors, where it has stronger connotations than any other colors, where you're like visual appeal. I will give you is so over the top that some people gravitate towards that flavor. I'm a strong contender for F tier here. Possibly the bottom. Well, D tier is the lowest we can go here. F tier. Yeah, I agree. It's so aggressive. Barbie's weapon color. Yeah, it is so aggressive. So aggressive. Like, there are times when pink shows up that it's nice, right? But it's only when it's in small dosage. It is so overpoweredly strong that it just completely washes everything out. It demands attention, and it's a drama queen, and I do not like it. I'm willing to give deep pink more of a try than I am pastel pink. You lock me in a room in pastel pink, I'm going insane in a few hours. I will not last long. Make a new tier. We'll keep it here for now. We're going to fill out this tier list quite nicely, okay? Okay, poison green. I would argue this is probably like the truest green, like a darker green here. They don't have a forest green, unfortunately, so this is the closest we're going to get. So we're going to treat this as sort of a forest green. This is like blue, in that it just represents like a really nice calming color. You know, it is literally a symbol of life, right? Usefulness wise, you see something green, that is a symbol of things that are living, right? All plant life makes use of green in almost some capacity. Like there's exceptions, but there's a reason why there are exceptions and not rules. Cherry blossom cybernetic aesthetics is all that makes it nice. Pink is like the color of fentanyl. Yeah, there's like the fentanyl of colors. Yeah. Gives leaf vibes. Yeah, like again, thinking about like the in the room, like fill me in, put a room and fill it with nothing but green stuff, right? Green and me, I'll get along with that. I'm not losing my mind. It's gonna take a good long while for me to lose my mind over everything being green. Yeah, the G and RGB necessary for visual spectrums, light colors. I feel like green like true green, poison green as they have it, is a very valid color. Not quite as good as some of the other ones here. I would argue it's above purple, though. As much as that hurts me to say, as much as I love violet, green is just, it just does it better, man. It just does it better. It's a really good color, and a lot of people's favorite color. Yeah, you got to keep the RGB together. That's true. That's true. Nature and leaf green is scientifically proven to make you feel calmer. Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right, we move on. Pastel red. What a gross color. I would call this salmon colored, right? Is there anybody that's like, yes, my favorite color is salmon. My favorite color is this red that decided it wanted to not be like true red. I don't like it. Yes. So we got some pastel red stands out here right now. Pastel red sort of takes the red out of red. Agreed, right? Like this is like it's like the worst parts of pink, not quite as bad as pastel pink, but it's like the worst parts of pink and the worst parts of red. Like you see pastel red, there's very little times where you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I need pastel red right now. I need like a bright red for my usefulness. Visual appeal, I don't even know, guys. Is there like, again, I ask you, who out there is like, yeah, my favorite color is salmon. I actually love this color. It's what I used for red in web dev because it's fully saturated red. Is clashy and harsh. Yeah, that's fair. It's pink that identifies as red. Yeah. Walking around a gymnasium while watching a stream says putting all the color in the chair. You're living a good life. It's good for highlights. Yeah, it is good for highlights. I'm willing, like, the fact that it's red is saving it so much. The fact that it's red is helping it a lot. You know? If this was, like, pastel other colors that had the same stuff, the same faults with it, it wouldn't be nearly as well received. But I agree, it's like, if you need to tone down red, because red can sometimes be a bit much, but red is just so good. Red is such an S tier pick that it's like, it's saving pastel. It's saving this pastel red. I give it highlights, but it feels washed out of red cloth. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to say here, mostly because of how valuable the red color is, I'm going to put this at the top of C tier for now. Okay? We're getting a nice brick of colors here, which was not intentional. Yeah, I think C tier is probably fine. It's the branding. Yeah, it's the branding is help. All right, blue. It's the same thing, right? It's blue. Okay. Bit of a hot take. I think blue of the RGB is the best of the three. Because again, like blue and green, first of all, blue has to be above green. Like regardless of how we arrange this, blue must be above green. Green is defined as a mixture of blue and yellow. It has to be above green. Like there's no argument about that. Now, I would argue that blue is slightly better. Get out of here, red. Is slightly better than red. Blue has far more positive connotations than negative ones. It's a color you are much more happy with seeing. It is still just as useful. Blue is used as like a formal color, right? The connotations are strong. It's just like, it's like red, but like the good version of red. On painting pigments, it is, but on light terms, blue and green are separate really. Yes, I agree. But like, you know, when we're talking about painting things, the red makes you 3 times faster. I would say VGR. VGR does kind of roll a little bit better off the tongue than RGB. Anyway, I would argue blue is a red that's like it's red that decided to go a more simple life. It decided to live a more happy life. It retired to a cabin in the woods. So blue is not a natural pigment. Natural light blender to look how it looks. Well, our eyes can see red, green, and blue, right? So I don't know. I feel like blue is a necessary color here. It's not only a primary color in CMYK. Some art systems green is a better primary. Yeah, like I would argue blue is better here. Do we all agree blue is like a better version of red? Just, it's like, well, not even necessarily better. Just like, it's different, but where it's different, it matters. And it's all generally like a better experience overall. Do you agree with that? Does that feel good? And also, you see a lot of red in the wild, right? Red is pretty common. Blue is a lot more rare. That requires some unique things to happen, but it's always nice to see. Red, but if Thanos at the beginning of the end game, yeah. Can't enchant without Lapis. What a take. Okay. Alright. Yellow. This, I would argue, is more of a gold. I would argue pastel. Like, these two are two... There's a gap in the middle that this color tier list has not done justice to. I would argue this is more of a gold. But we'll argue it on terms of it being yellow. Okay? Yellow is a primary color, thus it has to be included in S tier. It has to be. It has good connotations as another being sort of a good, like, warning color. It is the color of cheddar cheese. Yes, it's true. It's a color of many things that are pleasant. But it is not as necessary as some of the other colors here, I would argue. Yellow is a good color. But, like, pure yellow and what they have here is much more of a gold. Closer to a gold or an orange, almost an orange. I would argue that this is, yes, still an S tier color, but kind of the bottom of the S tier. Gold, yellow, A to S. Yeah, I kind of agree. Kind of agree. I'm actually kind of irritated that mustard yellow and yellow are so close to each other. Like, they're clearly different when they're side by side, right? But they're really close to each other. I was hoping we'd get like a more true yellow, which unfortunately isn't listed here. So, all right, I'm feeling strongly about putting yellow at the bottom of S tier. It has to be S tier by default. Has to be S tier. We're fortifying the tier list, yes. Yellow is not the color of cheddar. What do you mean? Cheddar is definitely a yellowish color. Yellowish orangish. I would argue more orange than yellow, yeah. But like this yellow that it has here, this quote-unquote yellow that it has is definitely cheddar. True yellow, I think, would burn our eyes on the screen, potentially. Mustard yellow looks more like cheese. I would argue that looks more like synthetic cheese. I'd put it in high A tier. I'm going to keep it in S tier. It is a primary color. It kind of deserves its spot. All right, pastel blue. Nope. Pastel blue. This is, again, another thing where it's like, why are we making, like, pastel this? There's, like, it's, like, more of a pastel purple as they have it here. This is definitely not pastel purple. That's pastel violet. This color tier list kind of sucks. Anyway, pastel blue. I would argue that this is like an indigo-ish color. It's a fine color. I'm fine with it. I'm not upset at seeing a pastel blue. It just like, there's just not really a place where somebody's like needing pastel blue. Like, you have to really get into the meat and potatoes in order to find like a need for pastel blue. Have you been eating too many craft singles? Hell no. Gross. B tier? Yeah, I'd say like bottom of B tier. I'd say pastel blue, bottom of B tier. Pastel blue looks like it tastes dry like chalk. Yeah, like it's just it's a weird mix of like almost being calming. I don't like it. It's an odd color. It's an odd color. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like pastel blue goes right below sky blue. I could arguably, you know what? I'm going to make a decision here. I'm going to say sky blue is above pastel green, and both the pastel colors can hang out with each other over there. Pastel yellow slightly being at, actually, I'm thinking more about this here. I think sky blue is just such a needed color that I feel more strongly about this. Yeah, the more I'm looking at these colors side by side, I'm feeling like this is more accurate. Because sky blue is just like, it's such a nice color. It's not quite as like aggressive as blue. Cyan is necessary in order to kind of make that up in its useful color. Pastel yellow is still useful, but it's like the worst parts of it. And the pastels can kind of be down there. I'm feeling better about this. How are we feeling about this, chat? Pastel blue feels like the lies of big corporations. Yeah, all the pastel colors feel like colors that are being sold by big color. Just to sell more color. Sky blue is A tier. I would just put it right below A tier. Like, right below it. It's a good color. It's a very good color. We might move it up there. We'll think about it as we get further along. okay? Red orange. This is like a brick orange, or a brick red, excuse me. A nice color. I would argue that this is far better than pastel red. Like, compared side by side, orange red, or brick red as they have it here, that's a much nicer color. It's not quite as aggressive on the eyes. So it's like a dark red, right? It's not pinkish. It's a very nice color. Nice wood color. Yeah, like the pastel red, for all the sins the pastel red made, orange red or brick red got it all right, right? That's the one that, like, they both, these two colors both went to the same school, but one graduated with, like, honors, and the other almost flunked out. It made it through, but it almost flunked out. You know what I'm saying? Orange red, I feel like, is better than all of these pastel colors, if I may be real. I'm feeling fairly strongly about that. Like, usefulness, this is like a calming red, which is a weird statement. But, like, that's a good thing to have. Most pleasant reds, A tier. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually willing to go in with you on that. That's an A tier color. Yeah, I'd actually put it above orange here. I agree with that. I really like brick red. It's such a nice color. It's like the calmness of blue mixed with the necessity and the usefulness of red. It's a good color. That's a quality color right there. Yeah, nice color, I'd say. Honor sounds like A tier. Yep, I agree. I agree. Yep, you talked me into a chat. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Willing to potentially move. You know what? I feel good about this too. I feel good about this too. Popping down pastel. Yeah. No. No. The more I'm thinking about it, pastel orange, B tier. It's a good color. It's a very useful color. But it's like, I feel like pastel purple just has like a little bit more pop to it. That's tough. They're really close to each other. I do like sky blue up higher though. Sky blue's growing on me. It's growing on me a little bit. Yeah, it's growing on me a bit. Do we feel good about this? Brick red's classic rock. Yes, yes, yes. All right, some people in the chat are feeling strongly about this too. Okay. All right. Shall we move on? Any other final comments? I know that there's a little bit of delay in chat. Get your thoughts out there. Listen, we're making history today, okay? You're deciding the fate of a lot of these colors right now. That's a burden that not many chats can handle. Okay, everyone's happy with this. All right, yellow-green. I'm just going to save us the favor. Yuck. What a horrible color. There is no time in my life where I'm thinking, I need a yellow-green right now. There is no time in my life where I'm like, yellow-green is like a useful color. The visual appeal is just in the floor, dude. Connotations, there's nothing but garbage. It literally, yellow-green is like baby shit. It is a horrible color. D tier, awful color. Agreed. Purple and C tier is criminal. Okay, you're new here. I know this, you just popped in, Tea Kettle. But you got to remember that purple that they have here is more of an indigo. It's a nice color, but this is what I would call a more true purple. Dark violet, much better color. Nasty. Yeah, gross color. Literally, yeah, literally the face of the upset emoji. Yeah, no. Terrible color. As much as I hate the pinks, like yellow-green is just, that is an undesirable color all around. There's no time I'm thinking to myself, I need yellow-green. Gross. Terrible color. Now, emerald green, on the other hand, now you're cooking. That's a pleasant color to look at. That's a pleasant color to look at. Useful? Not really, but it kind of represents wealth. You know, like just sheer money. Visual appeal? Again, that's always going to be a little bit up in the air. But I don't think of a lot of people that are like upset at seeing an emerald green. And the connotations, again, are almost always positive. And it also has like the whole signs of life thing. This is I think on the same tier of brick red and sky blue. This is a really good color. I would argue better than sky blue. Not quite on the level of brick red, but this color makes me happy. This is a emerald green. Thumbs up color right there. Good color. Might even be S, maybe. Maybe. I feel like if we're going to move it up to S, though, I feel like the other greens. Well, like, okay. All right, question. Less intense green, softer implications. Yeah. So, all right. Question. Do we prefer, between this tier list here, do we prefer emerald green or poison green? Of the two, which do we prefer? I'm tempted to say emerald green. What are you feeling for, chat? Between emerald and poison green, do we swap them? Yellow green makes great garage signs, sale signs. Poison for me. Poison in S tier. Brick, emerald green, sky blue equals RGB. Sidekicks. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. We prefer poison green in S tier. Both in S tier. They're equal to me. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, they're both pretty darn close. Poison green on top, both S tier. Okay, we got some strong opinions for that. All right. I'm willing to go for this. I think both of these colors are really nice. I'm willing to go for that. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. I'm willing to let that. I'm willing to let you have that, chat. I'm willing to let you have that. Emerald superior. It's a toss-up between the two. We'll say, like, these could be interchangeable with each other. These can be interchangeable with each other. I feel like poison green, as being a more true green, needs to stay above it because it is like, you know, it's the OG, it's the grandpa. Emerald green wouldn't have a shot if it didn't have true green. That poison green. You know? Alright. Aquamarine. Medium aquamarine. I've never seen medium aquamarine. This only gives me connotations of Minecraft, and that's Prismarine. Other than that, I never hardly ever see this color. It kind of has like a minty color. It almost feels professional in a way. It almost feels professional, but oddly. You know what I'm saying? Like it has a weird vibe to it. It's like a worse version of the greens we've seen so far. I think it's better than pastel green though. Like actually the more I'm looking at pastel green, the more I'm disliking the color. Pastel green does have its usefulness though. Pastel green does have its usefulness. Aquamarine good looking at oceanic colors, but one of the on this tier list looks like maybe C and B in terms of looks. Yeah. Weird color B tier. Say nice B tier, but not necessary. Yeah, it's not as necessary. That's a good point. Like I'm thinking about swapping these two out, but pastel green has usefulness. That's like an alarming color. Like alarming other than orange. It's a different direction of alarming. So that keeps it as being useful. Right? Visually appealing though. I'd say it's more visually appealing. It's just kind of a muted color. You know what I mean? I don't know how to feel about that. I think it maybe goes like here-ish. I feel like that's pretty good. Someone could delete aquamarine from the world and nobody would notice for a long time. Yeah, that's probably fair. It's just a very non-offensive color. Whoever named the color aquamarine didn't get many quality aquamarine gemstones. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Turquoise would be a better name. Yeah, probably turquoise. Well, turquoise is what we have here. Turquoise. Turquoise, in my opinion, is cyan younger brother. Cyan, it's cyan trying to not be so quite aggressive. Turquoise is like the watered down version of it. And it doesn't hit any of the criteria very hard. All of them are just kind of mid-tier. You know? I would say that turquoise is a step above aquamarine, but these two colors are inseparable from each other. These are almost identical with each other. Now, the question is, do we prefer turquoise in front or turquoise in back? Which do we prefer more? I'm kind of indifferent on it. You know? I kind of don't mind that much where these end up getting placed, but turquoise is S tier. Strongly disagree. Walmart cyan. Yeah, no. These two colors are way too close to each other. The slight shade change there doesn't modify it enough to make it one thing or the other. Like, you know, it's not a make or break. Low to mid B to mid C. Yeah, I think I like this as is.
SMH, someone didn't read the patch notes. Cyan.
Cyan got buffed? Are you kidding me? What did Cyan get? What happened to Cyan? Somebody who read the patch notes. What happened to Cyan? Did it finally get its matchups fixed? Somebody help me out. OMG, it's a Cyan chat. How to turn off the blue screen filter to see. Yeah, it's too similar to each other. Okay. Crimson. 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 Crimson's a nice color. It's like pink. It's like lawful good pink. I was colorblind at first. It's like I was like, am I colorblind at first? Yeah. All right, crimson is like pink, but with it didn't commit any war crimes. It's still pink-ish, but it's a nicer version of pink. You know what I mean? It's like it's borrowing so much from Red's homework that it's like, dude, it's doing so much. The Red is doing so much heavy lifting for this color right now. C, yeah, I think I would put it like below purple, but they have it here, that indigo. It's a good pink. Like, of the pinks to show up, I think that this is the best one to see show up. It's like an actual pink. Pastel red, I guess, is also kind of pinkish, but I'm fairly happy with that. How do you feel about that, chat? Right right in the middle there, between C tier on top of turquoise. It's not a good pink, but a rebel red. Right. Crimson's S tier for me. I will die on this hill. Pastel pink deserves at least C tier. No. Look how aggressive this color is, dude. You're going to argue with me right now that pastel pink deserves a higher tier. Look how aggressive this fucking color is, dude. This thing's trying to kill me. It's trying to kill me through my cornea. You ain't going to convince me that this color doesn't belong in D tier. This is a murderous color. If a serial killer showed up in pink, like all kinds of red flags would be going off.